Welcome. Let's talk money and build real wealth. There's a financial mistake that will cost the average American around $400,000 over their working life. And the brutal part, it doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like a reward. It feels like you earned it. It feels like the most normal thing in the world. Because every single person around you is making the exact same one. I'm going to show you the exact math, year by year, raise by raise, of how normal spending creep compounds into a gap so large, it can be the difference between retiring at 62 and retiring at 71. This isn't a lecture about avocado toast. This is about a pattern that hits hardest the more money you make. And by the end, you'll have a dead simple filter to run every time your income goes up, so you can actually keep the money your future self is counting on. Here's the thing about lifestyle inflation. Nobody decides to do it. You don't wake up and say, I'm going to systematically redirect every raise I ever get into slightly nicer versions of things I already own. It just happens. You get a bump at work, and suddenly the apartment feels a little small. The car feels a little old. The vacation budget feels a little tight. Researchers from Harvard, Carnegie Mellon, Duke, and a handful of other schools formed a working group specifically to study why people make bad financial decisions. And one of their core findings? People focus on limited local trade-offs instead of broad outcomes. Translation: you compare this month's upgrade to this month's paycheck. You never compare 20 years of upgrades to 20 years of compounding. And that framing gap? That's where the $400,000 disappears. Let's build this out. Say you're 30, earning $75,000 a year. You get a 3.5% raise. That's about $2,600 before taxes, maybe $1,800 after. The default move? You absorb it. Rent goes up a little. You eat out one more night a week. You upgrade the streaming package, the gym, the wardrobe rotation. Nothing crazy. Nothing irresponsible. Just normal. Now, what if you took even half of that after-tax raise, $900 a year, and invested it in a broad market index fund averaging, let's say, a historically reasonable 7% annual return? After 1 year, that's $900. Who cares, right? But here's where it gets uncomfortable. You do this every year for 35 years, banking half of each raise instead of spending it, and that money alone grows to roughly $410,000. Not your original savings, not your 401k match, just the half raises you didn't spend on slightly better stuff. Now you might be thinking, okay, but I'm not just mindlessly upgrading my life, I'm making conscious choices. And sure, maybe. But behavioral scientists have found something that should make you a little nervous. People look to others' choices for guidance and are heavily motivated by how others perceive their decisions. In plain English, you're not choosing your lifestyle in a vacuum. You're choosing it in a neighborhood, in a friend group, in an office where everyone got the same raise and everyone upgraded the same things. This is why 17% of households earning over $100,000 a year would still struggle to cover an unexpected $400 expense. 100 grand. Can't find 400 bucks. That's not an income problem. That's a spending matches income problem, and it scales all the way up. And here's where lifestyle inflation gets really expensive: housing. Research out of the University of Chicago Booth School found that many homebuyers don't even comparison shop for mortgages. They just go with the first institution they contact. Think about that, the single largest purchase of your life, and people treat it like ordering from the first restaurant that pops up on their phone. But the deeper issue isn't the mortgage rate, it's the house itself. Every raise nudges your affordable price range upward. You qualified for $350, but now you qualify for $420. And the realtor is showing you the $420 houses, and they have the kitchen island and the third bathroom, and suddenly $350 feels like settling. That upgrade from $350 to $420? Over a 30-year mortgage, that's not $70,000 more. With interest, it's closer to $130,000 from one decision. That felt totally reasonable at the time. Now here's the reversal that might sting a little. The people most vulnerable to lifestyle inflation aren't the ones who are bad with money. It's the ones who are good at earning it. If you're the type of person who works hard, gets promoted, negotiates raises, you're actually more exposed to this trap because you have more raises to absorb. The high earner who inflates with every bump ends up with the same financial fragility as someone earning half their salary. 4 in 10 American families can't cover a $400 emergency. And that stat doesn't just represent low-income households. It represents the full spectrum of people whose spending expanded to fill every dollar available. U.S. household liabilities hit $14.5 trillion. That's not all poverty. A huge chunk of that is comfortable people who drifted into debt because their lifestyle outpaced their actual margin. So here's the filter. Every time your income goes up, raise, bonus, side income, whatever, run this before you spend a dime of it. Step 1. Automate first, decide later. The day your raise hits, increase your automatic investment or savings transfer by at least half the after-tax difference. Do it before you feel the money in your checking account. Money you never see is money you never miss. Step 2. Apply the 10-year test. Before any new recurring expense, the nicer apartment, the car payment, the subscription upgrade, multiply the monthly cost by 120. That's your 10-year price tag. A $200 a month upgrade is $24,000 over a decade. Does it still feel casual? Step 3. Comparison shop the big stuff ruthlessly. Mortgages, insurance, refinancing. If researchers found that people don't even shop their mortgage, the biggest line item in their life, assume you're probably leaving money on the table somewhere too. Get at least 3 quotes on anything over $10,000. Step 4. Set a lifestyle ceiling. Pick a number, a monthly spending level, and decide that no matter what you earn, your core lifestyle costs won't exceed it. Everything above that ceiling gets invested, saved, or deployed towards something with a future payoff. Your income can climb. Your spending doesn't have to follow it up the ladder. The uncomfortable truth about lifestyle inflation is that it's invisible in real time. Nobody posts about the raise they didn't spend. There's no social reward for keeping the same car after a promotion. But 35 years from now, the gap between the person who captured half their raises and the person who absorbed all of them isn't subtle. It's $400,000. It's 9 years of retirement. It's the difference between options and obligations. If this reframed how you think about your next raise, you'd be doing me a favor by subscribing. Because this is the kind of thing I think about way too much. And it's nice to know I'm not the only one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more finance insights every week.